This is the Mammotion Luba Mini, the world's slowest race car that can also mow your lawn. And if you look at the blades, you'll wonder how on earth this is supposed to cut the grass. But just look at the stunning results. Oh, sorry, that's my neighbor's lawn. Just look at the adequate results. No, the Luba Mini won't win you Lawn of the Year, but it does at least as good a job as my 14-year-old son ever did cutting the lawn, and it never complains about it, so that's a big win in my book. However, this is a $2,000 lawnmower, which means it better make my life $2,000 better. So I really don't want to have to babysit this thing. I don't want to rescue it when it gets stuck. I don't want it wandering into the neighbor's yard, who, if you remember what his lawn looked like, would probably murder me if it did. Basically, for $2,000, I don't want to use any of my limited mental capacity worrying about my lawn. This thing just better work, and that's the standard we're going to be dealing with today. There are actually 4 different versions of the Luba Mini mower. I am basing my review off of the Luba Mini all-wheel drive 1500H version of this mower. The 1500 stands for the 1500 square meters, which is the maximum lawn size of the mower. The H stands for high cut, which ranges from 2.4 to 4 inches. And the Luba are an indigenous people native to Southern Democratic Republic of Congo, who are actually credited with inventing the first lawnmower all the way back in the 17th century. Okay, I made that second part up, but the Luba people were real, and they reigned in Central Africa for almost 400 years until the Belgians came in and cut their hands off. But more on that later. Speaking of cutting, let's look at the Luba Mini's quality of cut. Obviously, you can't expect golf course level quality, but anyone who sees your yard will get the impression that you're the kind of person who kind of cares about your lawn. The Luba does a very adequate job, and it does that adequate job much more regularly than I ever did. Yes, the Luba will miss some strips here and there, but if you're using the mower as intended and cutting the grass every few days, the difference between the cut grass and the long grass will be minimal, and you won't even really notice any misses. However, I did want to test its ability to cut long grass, so I let my lawn grow out and set the Luba at its lowest cut and gave it a whirl. I was actually surprised at how well it did, considering it is just using razor blades. It did miss some spots which are more noticeable when the grass is long, and obviously it left clippings that you won't have when you're only cutting a half inch off the grass. But I really thought I would have to pull out my actual lawnmower to finish the job, but it powered through it all. So good work, Luba. As you can see, the Luba Mini leaves behind nice little striping as it mows. You can set the mowing pattern to be a checkerboard or just stripes, and you can adjust the direction of those stripes. The best thing to do is just set the striping at a random angle each time it mows, which promotes the healthiest growth for your grass. You can also adjust the cutting height, mower speed, and the spacing between paths. Obviously, the slower it goes and the tighter the spacing, the better the cut. But if you set it at the slowest speed, the tightest spacing, in a checkerboard pattern, I'm not sure you'll get your entire lawn mowed by the end of summer. So yeah, the Luba Mini gets a passing grade on quality of cut. And I don't know if this relates to quality of cut, but holy cow, is this thing quiet. If you're inside your house, you can't hear it at all. And even if you're outside, unless you're basically right next to it, the minimal sound it makes is drowned out by the birds, wind, and your neighbors yelling at their kids. That said, there still are a couple more things you should consider when it comes to quality of cut. The first is that while the rugged all-wheel drive wheels are awesome for getting your mower through basically anything, they can be a little bit rough on the lawn when it turns. Our lawn was stressed through much of this testing because we weren't getting any rain, but you can see that the grass has been somewhat pressed down and browned in places, especially around the edges where it was turning. In the app, you can set the mower to do a 0 turn or a multi-point turn, which is supposedly a little easier on the grass, but it still isn't perfect. My recommendation is to only mow the perimeter every other time to ease the stress. The second thing to consider is leaves. The Luba has no suction power, so it can't lift up and chop the leaves that are on your ground. I had a few leaves left over from the winter in my yard, and when I mowed over them, the mower just basically went right over them without doing a thing. So I have a hard time imagining this is going to be a great solution in the fall, unless your yard is well raked in advance. So what about ease of use? If a robot lawnmower just replaces the headache of mowing my lawn with other headaches, I don't want it. I'm not going to say that the Luba Mini is headache-free, but compared to some other robot mowers out there that seem to get stuck on anthills, this mower means business. Getting the mower set up was relatively easy. The hardest part was finding a place for the charging station and the RTK antenna. The charging station has to be placed on level ground, and I do mean level. My first location was on a very slight slope, and when the mower parked itself, it would slide away from the contacts and stop charging. No good. So find a level spot. For the RTK antenna, the instructions tell you it needs to be placed on or near the roof of the house or on the ground at least 10 feet away from any structures or trees to ensure it has an unobstructed line of sight to the satellite at all times. The roof is the best option, but then I read that if it gets below -4 degrees, which it definitely does here in Minnesota, You need to take the RTK inside or it can void the warranty. I'd rather mow my lawn all summer long than have to climb my roof twice a year, so that was definitely out. I also don't want to stick a silly plastic thing on a pole in the middle of my yard, so I just stuck it here. It's about 5 feet from the house and 8 feet from the tree, and hope for the best, and so far it's worked out great, but your mileage may vary. The next step was to map out the lawn. You can do this automatically or by steering the Luba with your phone. You can map out different zones in your yard, no-go zones, and channels across your driveway. The app makes it really easy and walks you through everything. It takes a little while, but it's kind of fun to drive this thing around, so it's not really a big deal. But the real test for ease of use is how often you have to deal with this thing after it's all set up, and that's where the Luba really exceeded my expectations. The all-wheel drive wheels really are no joke. I do not have a very even lawn, and the robot has yet to get stuck in any of the bumps or holes dug by my stupid dog. It climbs the hill in the back with ease. It's just a workhorse. The only thing it has gotten stuck on is this wood brace for the swing set. Now, I should have set it up as a no-go zone, but we're getting rid of it, and I figured it wouldn't try to actually drive over the thing, right? Well, it did, and it got stuck. But other than that, I have not had to rescue it. There was one other time where it lost satellite signal. I don't know why, but after about 20 minutes, it regained the signal and continued on without me having to do a darn thing, which is the way it's supposed to be. The mower has never strayed from my yard, and after running it several times, I'm fairly confident that it isn't going to lose its mind and go on a rampage through the neighborhood. The other thing I don't want to have to do every day is run around picking up all the tennis balls and other toys that the dog won't retrieve, despite being a so-called retriever. I guess I don't want it running over the dog either, so object avoidance is important. The Luba Mini has what they call UltraSense AI Vision, which uses a camera mounted on top of the mower to see and detect objects. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It does a great job of avoiding big things like walls, trees, and yes, dogs, but it does run over tennis balls. Fortunately, so far that hasn't caused the mower to get stuck. The diameter of the tennis ball is 2.7 inches and the cutting height is usually set around 3 inches, so I guess it's not a problem. The Luba also will not avoid dog poop, but that actually could be more of a feature than a bug. Now Mammotion can add fertilizer spreader as one of its key attributes. I also thought the object avoidance would help it go around the trampoline legs, but nope, it hops right over them. It actually seems to enjoy the challenge. Regardless, it's not getting stuck in any of these things, so I guess I don't need to worry about it. It also has a sensor in the bumper, so it will stop and turn around if it hits anything. For maintenance, it basically says to wipe off the camera and the sensors every once in a while, which is no big deal, even though I'll probably never do it. The biggest thing you need to do is change the blades every 150 mowing hours. Changing all 6 blades took me less than 10 minutes, which is just under my threshold of annoyance, and if I only have to do it a couple times a year, I can suffer through it. It costs about $8 for a set of blades. Overall, I give the Luba Mini top marks for ease of use, and even the app is intuitive and easy to use. To mow the lawn, you just go in here and set a new task, select the areas that you want to mow, adjust the cut height and any other settings, and away it goes. You can also set a schedule to mow on certain days or at certain intervals, but our weather has been so weird so far this year that a schedule hasn't made any sense for me yet. You can track the mower's progress by following along in the app, and you can set it to send push notifications as well. The Luba does have some other features that are kind of pointless, but they're still fun. You can use the mower's camera to get a first-person view from the robot lawnmower as it works, or while you drive it around manually. They say the Luba Mini's not a toy, but the kids sure think it is. You can also have it mow shapes or words into your yard, but with the type of grass I have, it doesn't really look that great. As you can tell, I really like this mower, but should you run out to the store right now and buy it for $2,000? No. Order online. It's way easier that way. Also, while this is a great mower for a lot of people, it does have some drawbacks. My biggest issue with it is that it takes forever to mow my lawn. The model I have, the Luba Mini 1500H, is designed for yards up to 0.37 acres. My yard is 0.36 acres, so theoretically it can mow my lawn in a day. Theoretically. In reality, if I don't want it running all night long, which it can do, but it just seems to get the dog riled up, it takes 2 to 3 days to mow my lawn, depending on how fast you set the mower. So if you want your lawn mowed every 3 days, basically it's going to be running all the time when you're awake. And if you have a smaller yard, that won't be a problem, or maybe having it run all the time won't bother you, but it does bother me a little bit. I don't know exactly why. It's like I get this little twinge of guilt every time I see the mower out there. It's like a constant reminder that I'm too lazy to mow my own lawn, just a single hour a week. It makes me feel a little less of a man. But the fact is I am that lazy, which is why it annoys me that the Luba doesn't trim my lawn too. I hate trimming the lawn, probably more than I hate mowing it, quite frankly. I know there are only a couple of robot mowers out there that do trimming, and it seems pretty dangerous to have an unguarded spinning blade sticking out of the side of the mower. And my dog would definitely slice her nose open, probably more than once, before she figured that out. But gosh, I do hate trimming. The other quibble I have with Mammotion is that if you want to be able to check up on your mower or control it using the app when you aren't at home, you'll have to pay for their 4G service, and I just don't need any more subscriptions in my life, so that sucks. If you don't want to pay for the 4G service, but you still want some theft protection, you can sneak an AirTag under the cover, like I did. But I think most people with smaller yards and more money than me will be pleased with the Luba Mini robot lawnmower. I haven't mowed my lawn a single time this year, and that makes me very happy. But there's still one lingering question you all have. Why did the Luba people in Central Africa get their hands cut off? Well, toward the end of the 19th century, after border disputes with rival empires and being raided for copper and slaves, the Luba Empire split and then collapsed. During the same period, the King of Belgium, King Leopold II, decided he wanted in on exploiting the people of Africa. So he borrowed money from Belgium, which I guess you can do if you're the king, and he hired a personal army to colonize a huge chunk of Central Africa, which included the former Luba Empire, all for himself. And in 1885, he declared it a new nation called the Congo Free State. Naturally, he installed himself as the absolute monarch, and he committed to improving the lives of the people. This was, of course, a huge lie. Shortly after taking charge, he declared that all of the land of the Congo Free State belonged to him, and he decreed that any rubber, copper, ivory, and other resources from the land could only be sold directly to him. Furthermore, all of the people living in Congo Free State, including women and children, were given quotas of rubber that they needed to provide to the state, and if they didn't meet their quotas, they would be killed. Now, back in those days, bullets were very expensive, and Leopold, being both a king and a savvy businessman, did not want his pricey bullets wasted on things other than killing Africans. So they came up with this genius plan that every time a soldier shot an African, they had to cut that person's hand off and bring it back as proof that they used the bullet in an appropriate African killing fashion. But it gets worse. You see, some of the soldiers wanted to use their bullets to shoot, say, elephants. But that was a problem because elephants don't have human hands. So the obvious solution was to just cut a random person's hand off to cover for their elephant hunting. Well, the African villagers were not too keen on this either, and wanting to save their own hands, they would then raid other villages and cut those people's hands off so that they could offer those hands to the soldiers to spare their own. So thanks to King Leopold II, there was an entire black market for trading baskets of human hands in the Congo, and at the end of his 23-year reign, due to the murdering, starvation, disease, and other horrible things, over half the population of Congo Free State had been wiped out. Now, I had never heard about this atrocity until a couple days ago when I followed a rabbit hole after Googling the word Luba. But the sheer lack of humanity really struck me as a stark reminder that, while we as a people are capable of extraordinary things, and yes, a robot mowing my lawn is pretty darn extraordinary, our capacity to cause human misery and suffering is also quite extraordinary. It seems like this sort of thing couldn't happen today, but as I see the country and the world getting more and more divided, I think we all need to make a conscious effort to maintain our humanity, even and probably especially with the people we don't like. Because history shows the minute you dehumanize others, the unimaginable becomes imaginable. Well, that was not a very funny way to end this video, but I just felt like I needed to share. I'm sure there's something hilarious for you to enjoy in one of these videos right here. So see you next time, and thanks for watching.